Okay, so we're doing H57 today. These are some images that I got that kind of remind me a little bit of H57, so I'm just going to open those up straight away and maybe explain why I got the ones I did. So right now they look all um, complicated. So I've got some spare change here, someone moving, someone who's happy, a happy businessman, a bag, which will tie in with that, and then just a stationary guy. So what I'm trying to do is I'm going to try to make an idea whereby a homeless person, which is not turned into a simple vector silhouette simplified stick man, obviously because it's unlikely to have sort of a homeless person as an icon, that if you go past people and just give them change, the cycle continues. But if you give them a donation bag with food, they can become a dependent and get a job. Okay? I just thought I'd open up these symbols for bread and bananas and other things, just so that there's some other sort of like um, options for food, which I just realized I kind of needed. So I guess the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go File and New. I'm going to have an A3, 300 resolution. So when you look at H57 works, you'll realize that they're usually sort of a portrait, and that's what this one's going to be. So the best and easiest thing for me to think about, I mean, I don't know how it is with other designers, but I usually try to get everything onto this one work and then close them as I go, because then that just sort of helps me simplify my workspace. But I'm only putting on ones that are already everything cut out, so I'm going to go select color range on this one. Not this one, but this one, for example. I'm not sure if I need this one, but I'm going to presume I will. Go select color range and just select the black and cut the black out and close them as I get rid of them and put them into here. And they're all at different sizes, as you can see. That's okay. The donation bag, select color range, just the black, cut it out, close the document, put it in here. And this way isn't going to work for everyone, but it might do for you. Now this one's an interesting one, because what I'm going to have to do is sort of simplify it a little bit. So I might use my polygonal, might be in the wrong workspace. I'll go to photography and magnetic lasso the inside of his leg, because another Getty's images, and hopefully, well, actually what I might do is, I don't know how accurate that's going to be. No, that's not too bad. I could actually fill that little area and we'll just redo it. Whoop. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the polygonal tool instead and just make a straight line. So that this tool is right underneath the magnetic lasso. And the reason I'm going to do that is that I just want a hard edge. Around it doesn't really matter. Okay, and I'm just going to cut that out. And then use my cropping tool, because really all I want is just the guy. Alright, and now another thing I could do is I could do select color range and just all the white, cut that out. Oops, I should have done that when I had already done it. And now what I'm going to do is, now that that's selected, what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill it with a brush, which will be underneath. I don't use the brush so often. Oh, there we go. Underneath the pencil. So it doesn't really matter what you need, what you do. It's just going to be black. And what you can do is that you can change the brush. Something quite solid. Opacity, flow, quite full. And what I think is going to happen, no, we can't do it that way, can we? All right. I definitely don't want to do it that way. What we can do is that within the polygonal tattoo selection, I'll just make that selection again. And only within here I want to paint. So it's just to cover his leg, basically. Where is it? And then I think I can just go within this now. Okay, you see? Because I've made that selection. Doesn't matter how big the brush is. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's fine. And now I can zoom out. And now I can drag him into this. Although what I might do is actually just quickly increase the size of this by about 200%. He's a little bit fuzzy. I can do a sharpen. This kind of works a little bit to an extent. As you can see, I just forgot that little bit there. And it doesn't really matter for now because we're doing it on white, but you'll see why later. All right, cool. So he's a lot smaller, that's why he's fuzzy. But that's all right. Okay. The bread, I'm going to do the same thing. Select color range, just the black, and cut that out. Put under here. There's a very small bread, but that does not matter. It's going to be small anyway. But the smaller it is, usually the less quality, unless of course it's very sharp. I'm going to go with these bananas. And just select color range again, just the black. Cut it out. Don't quite know what's going to work or not. Oh yeah, that looks fine. So there's my bananas, the bread, bag, the men, pumpkin. So what I'm doing is I'm building up a sort of an equation that I'm going to do in an H57 way. I'm not quite sure what it's going to be yet, or what it's going to look like. I'm just sort of figuring out as I go. What else? Oh yeah. Yeah, I'll just do the cans. So what I was thinking of doing the cans, I'll just do this one. Yeah. Sometimes it's going to assist a little bit. So let's make it 5 times bigger. Yeah, it looks alright. Select color range, and we're just going to do the black again. Cut out the black. And that can be a symbol for cans. And then finally this. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go image adjustments, threshold. I'm going to turn it into strictly black and white. And then I'm going to go Control I to inverse it. Then select color range, just select black, cut out the black, close that document and put it into here. Right. Ooh, it's a bit hard to grab because it's so small. But it's there anyway. There we go, got it. There we go. Okay, I won't bore you with all of these shapes that I just made, but I'll show you how to do some of the simplest ones. So basically you start with the photograph that you want to take, make the symbol of. So I've chosen this guy. There's obviously a lot of detail that I'm going to miss out because we're making people into symbols. So the first thing I did is I made the circle head, and how you're going to do that is using these tools here, which is a shape tool. If you can't see the shape tool, you might just be in the wrong workspace. Painting has it, but photography on most versions don't, you see. But they have these other ones, which are kind of almost too much for photography. So I usually actually change it to painting. But you can do what you like, as long as you get those shapes. So did a circle, then I made a shape like this, and I'll show you how to make a similar shape. So that was a rounded rectangular tool. So when you've got something like this, you can turn it around and whatever, and change the size, but it's still always going to be a rectangle. And what you actually want to do for a torso, or what you might want to do, is you might want to change it a little bit more and skew it, or make it affected by perspective. So what you need to do is actually go to the layer that is that new shape. I'm just talking about this one for a second now. So I'll just turn everything else off this one as an example. So you see, no matter what you do, it's still a rectangle with 90 degrees to it, if you know what I mean, no matter which way you increase and whatever. But if you go on it and you right click on it and you go rasterize layer, then you're able to go to this other thing and edit, transform, and you can, all these great things open up as well, like skew, okay, which means you can vastly change the shape based on a skew sort of format, like it's turning. Or actually I'll just undo for a second, or distort, okay, which opens up some new possibilities, and also perspective, which may or may not be useful depending on the body parts that you're going to do. But if I just forget about that one for a second and turn on all these other ones, basically what I've slowly ended up with is a shape that resembles a homeless person, or at least I hope it is. Then what I did is I chose all of those together using Shift, right-clicked, and went Merge Layers to turn it into one. Not including this layer, not including the background that I've based it off. See, this is the background, it's by itself, and this is the symbol by itself. Anyway, I'd already done that here, so here's my homeless person, here's my big, massive giant, some food, tin can, some spare change, and a man. So I'm going to make these into an H57 poster now, okay? Alright, just to give you an update of what I've done, a lot of boring stuff. I've just been renaming these things. So basically what I've got is, I've got a homeless man here. I've got two homeless men actually. And the reason is I'm going to have in two different scenarios. These are in the wrong size right now. I've got a tin, a pumpkin, a banana, a turnaround arrow, and another arrow. Dots, because I see that in a lot of H57 work. Bread, which should actually be up here with the rest of the food. Layer 2, don't need this guy anymore, so I'm just going to get rid of that now, just so I don't get confused later. A man at work as a result of the donation bag, and I'll just turn everything else off so you can see this. These are the important things. So a man giving a donation bag and a man giving change, and the difference between those two scenarios in conjunction with two homeless people. So I'll just rearrange these a bit nicer. Alright, what I've got now is one group of a man giving change to a homeless man and another group of a man giving a donation bag to a homeless man. Alright? Okay, so what I've done here is I've just arranged, I'll just turn things off a bit to simplify things down a little bit, because I guess it is kind of complicated what I'm trying to do. But let's start with the man giving the change. Over here, he's giving a change to a homeless man here, and he's on the street asking for help, and I made an arrow that means that he's going back. But a homeless man, the other homeless man, another situation, man giving a donation bag to him instead, results in him going to work eventually. And I've shown that with the arrow there. So those are the two different things. And then I added these other things, these sort of arrows and dots to sort of differentiate the difference with that kind of wall. And then everything else is sort of food. Okay? And the last little bit of last little element is that I went to my text and I added a hand up, not a hand out, down here, and I've used the wrong kind of thing. I actually wanted a square bracket, so I think that looks a bit better. And all I'm going to do now is I'm going to put in a texture, but I'm going to put it on right on top of here, and I'm going to make it really, really light.